All right, you guys, excited to have on John Gavin, a board member with Family First Life. His agency is growing. He's been a top producer within the company, and looking forward to having you on and having you pour into the team. Thanks for coming on, John.
Thanks, Julius. Appreciate you having me.
You got it, man. Well, if you can, I know, I'm not sure how many of our team are aware of your story and kind of.
Probably none.
Probably not, right? So if you can share a little bit about your story, let's start there.
Sure. So I'm a little bit older than most, so I'm not huge on social media. And when I started to build my agency, I decided I didn't want this face to be the face of my agency. So I kind of let my agents go do those things. Like you've probably heard of Jessica Powers, Brad Allen, those guys are out there killing it. I'd rather have them be the face of our group, not me. And so I'm not big on social media. I should do a better job, but I'm just not, but I actually have been here from the beginning of Family First Life. I was in one of the very first meetings that Sean had. I was with a previous IMO, and I was broke. I was broken and broke. And so when agents come on board here and they don't have a whole lot of money for leads, I know where they're coming from because I had zero money. In fact, when Sean started this, I had been selling insurance for a year. And due to the fact that the previous company we came from was not built for the profitability of the agents, it was built for the profitability of the owner. It was the exact opposite of what we have here. And they charge you for trainings that you had to go do every quarter. They charge you to go into meetings. You had to buy books that the owner wrote that you were never going to read. You had to buy into president's clubs, and they started you at 55% comp. So all of those things combined, after a year of selling insurance at a pretty decent clip, I was so broke that I had to sell my plasma to feed my kids one weekend, just before Family First Life started. And met with Sean, and it was a small room of 30 of us. And he said, hey, I sell more insurance than anybody here, and I've got a bigger agency than anybody here, and I've got no money. So if I've got no money, I know all you are broke. And I'm like, I'm broke. I am so broke. So he said that he had a deal that he was starting up. He was honest with all of us. He says, I don't know how this is going to look, but I can promise you one thing. We're going to start at the highest comp in the industry. And I promise you, I will outwork every other president of every other IMO out there until we get this thing going, until all you are the most profitable agents in the country. So we started with one carrier. We had Americo. So Americo took a chance on a small IMO with about 70 people. And we had two products and paper apps. So the world we live in today is completely different, So I did start from there. I didn't actually want to hire anybody for the first several years just because I still had such a bad taste in my mouth from the previous IMO. And we were going through a lot of growing pains early on. We didn't have the instant internet leads. We didn't have all the products we have now. We were still fighting to survive for the first several years. So I was making pretty decent money. I wasn't broke anymore, but I didn't feel like building an agency until we were completely solid, because I didn't want to bring anybody else into something that was unsure of. And so 3 years ago, in May of 18 is when I started to hire. And one of my first agents was Brad Allen. And Brad came on board, and that month I did in June of 2018, my team did 112,000, and I was 78,000 of that. So it was me and a couple guys selling insurance. And so Brad started taking off. He turned into Brad Allen. He's produced over $1 million last year. But he kind of energized me. Finding one person I could run with energized me to keep hiring more. And I wasn't really good at hiring early on because I wasn't consistent. And if there's anything I could change, it'd be going back to the beginning and hiring consistently and never letting up. Because we all fall in love with agents we think are going to do well. And we ride, in sales, we ride that emotional roller coaster. We make a big sale. This is the best job ever. We get no-showed. It's the worst thing ever happened to us. It's just going up and down, up and down. Well, hiring's the same way too, because if you hire people, pour into them, and they don't succeed, you spent that emotional energy into them. You've got nothing left. And so over time, I started realizing that hiring was just like running appointments, that you need to hire more to take the emotions out of it. Excuse me, I've got allergies. And so we started hiring a massive amount in about a year and a half ago, and we did about 1.1 million last month. But what I found is it's not about finding the perfect agent; it's finding a lot of agents and plugging them into our system, because the agents don't have to be perfect because our system is, and anybody can survive in the system. If anybody's going to be successful in selling insurance, we have the best platform for them. There's just no doubt about that. And now that I hire on a massive scale, I hear where people are coming from. And Sean says this. He said this early on, that we're actually rescuing people from subpar work environments, people that aren't getting paid what they're worth. People that are working, with no lead systems. And if you hire enough, you start realizing that. You see these people come to us, and the only equation I have to that is like, we have such clean drinking water here at Family First Life. The people that we hire from other places, they're drinking toxic drinking water, and they don't know it. They don't know it because that's all they know. It's just water, it's liquid, and it kind of refreshes them. They come on board here and they look at our lead system, look at our comp system, look at our bonuses, the training that we have here, the offices all over the country that you could walk in and use. And it's just like having a water filtration system, but they're actually drinking clean water for the first time in their life. They just didn't know this existed. And so now it's like, how many people can you reach back and help out? And so, coming from where we started to where we are now, it's never been easier to build a massive agency quicker than it is now. You look at some of the leaderboards of agencies, and now we have 200 agencies that are doing over $150,000 a month, and some have only been here 45 days. And so what it took me 3 years to do, you in about a year and a half, everyone else can do that in just a couple months. And so what's happening now is we're not just hiring individual agents and plug them into our system. We're hiring an agent who's turning around and hiring an army of agents from where they were before. And that's how these agencies are absolutely blowing up. If you look at the volume between some of the top agents and some of those that are up and coming, they go through spurts. Like, this one will shoot up, then this one will shoot up, and this one will shoot up. And that's not because they hired Mike or Terry or Bob. It's because they hired Mike, who hired his whole group, or Terry, who went back and hired their whole group. You don't know where those people are going to come from. So as long as you put yourself out there, put the marketing dollars into it, eventually you're going to catch something huge and explode just like everybody else did. We've kind of, in the early stages, we were building this house brick by brick by brick by brick by brick, and it was a slow growth. But now we did about, we'll do 1.3 million this month, but we have something in the works. We're bringing on a massive group of people that will be at 3 million probably by September, October. And so where everybody else shot up at different times, that's where we're going to go. And the person that led us to all the rest of the people was actually found on Craigslist. So you just never know. But I'll tell you, if you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to find those people. But if you do it consistently and you put marketing dollars into your business, you're going to get a return at some point.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's great. I mean, that growth is amazing. I remember when we first met, I mean, your team was just really getting started, and just seeing that growth over time has been incredible. So John, we have a bunch of new people on here. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about what are you doing to help agents get started? Maybe what training videos, what are you having them focus on? Just, imagine this is your team, right? What would you tell a team full of a new team, what they should do to get started today, or to improve, to get to 20K? I mean, I think the ultimate goal initially is to help agents get to 20K first. Yep. So what are you doing to help your new agents get there?
So the first thing we tell people is not to complicate this, okay? Because this is really, really, really a simple process. We buy leads, we dial leads, and we go meet with clients, okay? The people who think that they need to get contracted with every carrier first before they go out there, because I need to be completely prepared, those people will never get out there, okay? Like I said, we sold a lot of insurance with one carrier. If you focus on that one carrier, you'll be fine. The most important thing is to get people out there and get them paid as fast as possible, because there's a lot of media out there. There's a lot of, we're pretty well known as a company as far as how much we get paid. And we're talking to people that are coming on board saying our agents make this, 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 and this. That's not real to them. They don't understand that. When they actually get a deposit into their account is when they fully understand that actually this is real. When they meet with somebody for 53 minutes and 2 days later they have $1,200 deposited in their account because they met with that person, then they realize that this is real. So the number one message I have for my new agents is do not overcomplicate this. We have an abundance of leads out there. When you're dialing leads, you're going to get a mix of everything. You're going to get people that hang up on you. You're going to get people that tell you they don't need anything. But you're also going to get people who have actively reached out in some format to get information on life insurance. You have to understand that what's been going on in the US in the last 12 months is your best friend. There's a pandemic and everyone's got a fear of mortality. So the fear of dying has actually been put out there in front of everybody. That's why we have so many stinking leads right now. So those instant internet leads, those are a great way because people are just online. They're looking at the news, they're looking at this, and all they hear is this person's dying, this person, all this other stuff is going on. And then they get to see an ad for life insurance. Click, boom, okay, there you go. So it's never been easier. So people just need to understand that the most important aspect of this is to get good on the phone. Do you have to be perfect? No. Because you don't have to be perfect in every aspect of this because we're only reaching out to people who've actively reached out to get information on life insurance. How you set that appointment does not matter. Now, getting good on the phone over time, very important, okay? But to start off, it's absolutely not. Some of my agents that just bought leads, grabbed leads, went to appointments and sold insurance called me up afterwards and said, that was really easy. It's okay. I didn't even know you were buying leads yet. And so they just took them and ran. I've got other people that need to know that, well, will they see this? What do I say? They need to know everything. You just don't overcomplicate it. What you need to understand is how this process works. You need to understand how to set an appointment, how to tie it down, how to knock on someone's door, how to take your shoes off, how to introduce yourself. You're not going to do any of that unless you do it. And then we can fine tune everything after that. It's just like in the NFL, they talk about a rookie quarterback. His first game, everything's coming at him so fast, it's just a blur. And that's why some of them look ridiculous and they make ridiculous passes because they just see everything at one time. When things start slowing down, they can pick up the outside linebacker. They see the defense they're playing. They see this gap. This guy's creeping up here. Things slow down. They can make some adjustments. But you have to get to your first game to get there. So getting the instant internet leads, getting work spots, getting a discount on them, getting on the phone, running your first appointments, and then let's talk and see how that went. Now let's see what kind of adjustments we need to make because of the fact that making adjustments before something happens doesn't even make sense in someone's mind. So we just need to get them into the house, get them into houses, get a full day set, and then call from every house to get some advice on what to sell. And it should only be one of two products. And then finish the day out and let's talk and see how it went. Then you make those adjustments, and that's how we get better.
So you said a lot of key points there. Obviously, getting people paid fast, don't overcomplicate it, get good on the phone. So let me ask you this, because I think you've probably seen, as new agents are getting started, not everyone comes out of the gate swinging on the phones, right?
Yep.
So what would you say to someone that, maybe they booked a handful of appointments, they've made 100 dials, and they're like, I did my job for the day, and I have 4 or 5 appointments. Because the reason I ask that, John, is because I see a lot of people come out here and they think that's going to cut it, right? So
Yeah.
what would you say to those people when you hear that?
So there's a couple things. First of all, the phone is really important. So when I ask agents, do you know your phone script? And they say, yeah, I read through it a couple times. So now that's not knowing it. I need you, because you do have some time from the time you submit to contracting till you get those appointments. You've got a week to 10 days. The most important thing they can do is memorize their phone script and get that down so they know it ad nauseum to record themselves, to play it back to see how they sound. Because being comfortable on the phone is completely different than being good on the phone. Being comfortable on the phone, I can call you up, ring, you answer the phone, say, hey, my name is John. They hang up. You're cool. You just go on to the next number. I'm comfortable because there's no confrontation there. But being good on the phone is being able to engage with you, be able to overcome objections. It may not be easy. You might have to push people a little bit, being a little bit bold on the phone. That's being good at setting those appointments. Being comfortable, you might just fold like a taco every time you get an objection, and you're comfortable because you're not engaging with anybody. Just hang up, go on to the next. So I think it's important that they utilize that downtime to memorize that phone script, so they know how to overcome objections. And when they get thrown an objection, they know how to go right back to where they were. So that's the key part. The other thing is talking about the setting the 4 to 5 appointments. And we relate so much to sports. It's like, okay, so if you have if you're going to get $100 for every base hit you get, or make contact with a major league pitcher, would you rather have 4 swings or 100? You're going to want 100. You want a lot more chances. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way appointments are, is that you go out in 4, you're thinking automatically, if we're going to be realistic, half of those people aren't going to be there. Okay. And we always think, okay, so now you're down to 2. So out of those 2, someone may not be insurable or may not engage with you in any way whatsoever. So now we're hoping, praying that that 1 is going to buy from us. So rather than taking that hoping and praying into it, why not put the numbers in our favor by setting 15 appointments, getting the leads? You could be terrible on the phone and still set 15 appointments. You just need more leads to do it. So get those 15 appointments that now you put the numbers in your favor, even right out of the gate. So now you've got 7 people that show up. So you have 7 to work with. And maybe 2 you just can't deal with because they're not engaging with you whatsoever. Now you've got 5 opportunities. 5 opportunities is a lot better than 1. Out of those 5 opportunities, you're probably gonna have 1.5 people that will buy from anybody that walks in that door because their sister just died and they know they need insurance. So it's all about putting those numbers in your favor and maximizing numbers by getting enough leads to where you have enough appointments. If you have 100 leads and you dial through them and you have only 4 appointments, dial through them again, but add more onto it. Because, everyone says, well, I don't have that kind of money. Well, if you don't have that kind of money, you're starting a business. We're not asking for $50,000 down to open up a brick and mortar store. We're asking you to start your own business as a business owner, have some capital to pour into you, and then see where that goes from there. You can be profitable in day 1 here. You can't with a Subway store. So if you're going to business for yourself, starting your own business, you have to have more than $500. You just do. $1,000 puts you in a better position. And I think that's kind of where we start. So if you can come up with $500, you have a credit card, you can put the other $500 on, because $1,000 to start off with is a good amount of leads to put you in a good position.
Yeah. And, I think it goes it talks to activity, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's activity. And I think one thing, and keep me honest here, John, new agents struggle with activity to start, because I don't think, I know I did, right? Like when I started, I would make 100, 150 dials and I'd have whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8 appointments. And I'm like, oh, I'm killing this. This is great. Right. But when I realized that the activity needed to really get ahead here and to really be financially profitable, at a really high level, just requires more leads and more appointments. The whole game changed, right? And I think you actually were the one that told me that back in the day. It's, get an extra 2 appointments a day, right? Yep. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you compound that over 30 days, you have 4 run days a week. Now you got an extra 32 or so appointments. You close an extra, 10 apps. That could be an extra 10 grand that you just made.
It's
right?
Huge. When you look at it by the numbers.
Yep. So awesome, man. Let me ask you this. What does it look like for your team for travel trips? Are you guys traveling a bunch? Are you guys just kind of all in your home state? Because
go ahead. I've got agents from Miami to Hawaii. Okay. So we have areas where their leads are abundant and they don't have to travel anywhere. But we do have places where leads are a little bit harder to get by. And for the people that hit the numbers they want to, they have to travel, and they understand that. And I think travel trips I did them out of necessity before, because I couldn't get leads in my area. We didn't have internet leads at that point. I live in Washington. I had leads in Denver and Ohio. And so I was flying to Denver, then I'd fly to Ohio and alternate those. But I was making, $15,000 to $30,000 a month doing it. So it was no big deal to me. And when people, even when people get in a rut, we do travel trips, because it's a great way to eliminate all your distractions. And if you said you have to set them up the right way, you pack your schedule with more appointments than you can even handle. It takes that, hey, I'm going to think about it. What do you give me a call next week? Because I'm not going to be back here next week. Takes that off the table. And it just seems to be a travel trip when you get out of your hometown. It's such an easy way to become successful. Infuse that capital into your business, turn around, go back and utilize that, and then even grow even more.
What have you seen that's prevented people from actually doing a travel trip? Is it their mindset? Is it
It's
just
definitely mindset. Yeah. I have to go to a town I don't know. I have to be away from my family. What leads I'm going to use? Da, da, da. It's not, but it works so much and that's why it's great to have people that are put that on Facebook, the travel trips they have. Worked 3 days, made 27 grand. Now we talk about that money like it's no big deal. $27,000 in 3 days is a big deal. That's a lot of money. That's more than a lot of people make in 4 months, and we can make it in 3 days. And so, you talk about the activity and what it takes to be a top producer and everything. Top producer here is no joke. Our top producers make $1 million a year. I met with an anesthesiologist who made $600,000 a year. He was really full of himself. But when we went through the financial inventory, he had $500,000 in student loans. And so, in order to make that 600,000, we can get into that $600,000 income range with no student loans. All we had to do is buy leads. And so, when you know that your activity is what's going to drive your income, and the more active you are, the higher your income. And the high income in our business with our company is astronomical. So, it just how much of that do you want? And so, one of the things that one of my agents said, and I thought that this was so important because I never thought of this before. He's a guy that came on board here. He was making $3,000 a month at a warehouse driving a forklift. And he came on board with us. He was writing about $7,000 to $9,000 in any given month. And all of a sudden he crossed over to 25, 30,000. And I interviewed him on my agency call. And I said, Andrew, what was it that drove you to go from, low level producer, 8,000 to 9,000 a month is full time up to 25, 30,000. And he said, I finally realized I deserved it because he goes, I only thought that certain kind of people were high income earners. I didn't see myself in that group. I was a warehouse worker making $3,000 a month. And that's where I thought I belonged. I've got a wife and 3 kids to support. Once I started making $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, I thought that was really good, but at the top end of where I belong. And I started seeing everybody else that was writing more than me. And I had to have a conversation with myself and realize that I deserve that as well too. And my family deserves it as well. So he went out, all he do is increase his activity. And now he's $25,000, $30,000 every month. And so a lot of our agents here don't have that mentality that they deserve to make that top 1% income because we have the avenue to do it. A lot of people shut themselves down because they don't think they belong there, but they do. And that's what's great about our top producers. If you line the top 200 producers up on the stage, there's no way anyone's guessing what they have in common. We have every shape, size, race, gender, everything. It's all people that work. And when your activity is going to be the determining factor of your income level, all you need to do to increase your income is be more active. Everything else is taken care of for you. This whole system is set up for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so money. I mean, I remember, and I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I mean, you've been a key piece of my success in this business because you were one of the first people that I got to know. And when I had some challenges and struggles, I would call you, right? And there's no skin in the game for you, right? Like I wasn't paying you, you wasn't on your team, right? But you were willing to pick up the phone and help me out. And I think that's one of the things that our company really does well is you get to know someone, doesn't matter who it is, whose team you're on, what part of the country they're in. We have a bunch of people that are willing to help one another out so we can all win for the greater good.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool, man. Let me ask you this, because I remember one of the things you told me was as your team started growing and really kind of hitting its stride, you went from growing through addition through growing through multiplication, right? Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of new people on here that right now are focused on production. And it sounds like that's how you started, how I started, because we needed to make money, right? Yeah. We need to pay our bills, keep the lights on, etc. But tell us a little bit about, when should they start actively talking to others about FFL? What should that look like even while they're focused on production so we can also get a little bit of that multiplication action going on in our group?
Yeah, that's awesome. So the whole growing to multiplication, not through addition, is getting your team to hire with you. Okay. So Julius, as an individual, you can hire X amount of people a week and they get added to your team. But when your team starts hiring X amount of people a week, then you're multiplying by that many people and adding to the bigger group. And so when is the perfect time? I say right away. And the reason why I say that, and I've learned a lot over the years. I heard things early on, but it didn't make sense to me until years later because I'm not that bright. And so there's a few things that click with me now. And it's like, why would you make financial decisions for somebody else? And so the person that hired me into this business didn't work out. He was there 30 days and he left. But if he had not asked me if I was looking to make some extra income because I was at a previous job, I would never have gotten into the insurance business.
Wow.
And so had he not just asked that one question, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So by all of us not talking about what we do, because we're not selling soap, we're not selling Saya Berry or anything like that. We have the ability to make more money than anyone ever thought we could. And doing so by not talking to other people about that, you're making financial decisions for them. So I think it's a great time now to talk to them because you don't know who it is that's hurting behind closed doors. Some of the people with me being a little bit more vocal on what I do and what's possible here, some people have come to me that I never in a million years thought that they were struggling. And they were, and now they're not. And so I think putting it out there on social media is a great way to expose people to what we're doing. Sean Mike just put a 5-minute video out there on like a sort of small business development meeting. That's great to show kind of what we're doing. People putting their success stories out there is another way. And then reaching out to other people too. If you hear of anybody that's been, their income's been compromised by what's going on in the world, and I know most of it's starting to recover now, but the incomes aren't back there yet. So just being vocal about what you do and what's possible. I've never bothered anybody. There's nobody that's going to be offended when I walk up and go, oh God, here comes John's going to talk about insurance again. But I put it out there enough to where people started asking me and what I do. And, one of my guys I hired, he coaches softball. He's got 5 parents in licensing right now just by talking about what he does. They've all got jobs, but they see what's happening to him now. His life's changing, and now they all are getting their license to sell insurance. And so, I do think it is a little bit selfish when we don't expose people to what we have here and what the opportunities are here, because if you don't, you're actually making financial decisions for them. They have to stay where they're at without even knowing what's possible here.
It's funny that you say that. Actually, this weekend, something really interesting occurred. My brother hit me up randomly and's like, hey, what's the website to schedule the test? And I'm like, why? What's up? He's like, oh, I want to schedule the test. I go, for what? He's like, I'm going to join you. And I didn't, I tried to hire him early on, but he's an IT guy and was very kind of comfortable. And now all of a sudden he sees that my life is changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he's like, I want a piece of that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think, the other thing, I don't know if you see this at all, John, but like, we have new people that join and then, they have people that they know, and the person that they know says, oh, I'm going to see how that person does, or I'm not going to tell someone about it until I do well. Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here today.
Say about that?
I wouldn't be here. The guy that hired me didn't do well. He quit. I wouldn't be here. And there's somebody that said this a while ago. That's like going to the gym, about the gym, and you're not going to tell your friends about it until you have abs. Well, maybe you're not built to have abs. Okay?
You and I are screwed, bro.
Yeah, but tell your friends about the gym. Right. So again, it comes down to making those financial decisions for other people, and we shouldn't do that. I think we should expose everybody to it. And here's what happens is maybe you're struggling a little bit right now. You hire somebody, they start doing well. That incentivizes you to do better. You learn more about the business. They might teach you something, and you might take off. Mm-hmm. There's just nothing bad comes of it. You don't have to bother people. Just let us know what we got going on here. Present this opportunity to anybody that might be interested. If they're not, let them be for a couple of years and they'll come back and they will be.
Yeah. And then I think 2 things. One, point to the people that are already having success. We have thousands of agents nationwide that you can point to. So it's not about me or you or
exactly
whatever, right?
New, younger agents, it doesn't take long. You look at somebody who's in the business 60 days. This is not something you have to try out for a year or 2 to see if you like it and see if it works. 60 days, a lot of time you can determine whether you make it or not, whether you like doing it or not. We've got people I had an agent do 42,000 in his second month.
Wow.
He's got a belief now they didn't have before.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yep.
Awesome, man. What would you tell new people that are at 10K, around that 10K mark, let's just say they've been here for 90 or so days, maybe, 3-4 months, something like that. They want to hit 20K, but they haven't done it. What would you tell them?
Look at your schedule. See what you're actually doing, because it's probably a lot less than you think it is. So if you've been here 90 days and you haven't hit 20,000 yet, there's two things: you're not buying enough leads, and your schedule is probably inconsistent. Because the people that do really well are the people that dial in their schedule and are really, really consistent to that. Like if you are at 10,000 a month, this is the only thing you're doing. Write out your appointments, look at your what you have that's invested into income producing activities, and look at the rest of the white on there and see how much white you have. You're going to see you have a lot more free time than you thought you did. In your head, you might feel busy, but you see it on paper, you're not. So look at your schedule, see how many hours you're actually putting into this. If you're writing $10,000 a month, I'm almost guaranteeing you're not putting more than 12 hours a week into selling insurance. And if you don't know where to go, just buy more leads. Invest everything you can. If you came on board here in day one and you put 50%, you put $1,000 into leads, and you put 50% of every commission check you got for 30 days into leads. You get paid $1,000, you put 500. You get paid $2,000, you put 1,000. You get paid 3,000, you put 1,500 in. Do that for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, you're going to have a lot of money in your account, and you're going to have a healthy lead budget to move forward with. The really disciplined people will put everything they have into that. If you are able to put everything you have for 30 days, you came into this broke, you can be broke for 30 more days. Find $1,000, put it into leads, put everything you have back into leads as soon as you get paid on it before you need them. And at the end of 30 days, look back and you're going to have a boatload of money for leads, and that's going to carry you forward.
Awesome, man. Let me ask you this. I'm a new agent. I'm starting today. I got $1,000. What leads you telling me to buy?
I do all instant internet leads.
All instant.
All instant internet leads. Get a discount, get 20% off. Sometimes they're 50% off. So if you start off with, say it's 20% off. So say you start off with, $1,200 worth of leads. There's just no way you're not going to sell $4,000 or $5,000 out of that. And then if you take even half of that, $2,000, $2,500, reinvest that back into leads as soon as you get paid, there's no way with $2,000 you're not going to write 6 to 8. And so that's how you build up that lead budget, and that's how you build up that momentum going into the second month. And that's why a lot of our agents are writing $30,000, $40,000 in their second month.
What if instant internet leads aren't available at that quantity for someone?
1 month, I would do the 1 month mortgage leads. I look at social insurance leads as well too. I look at game time, happy, some of the final expense stuff, and just mix it all up.
Okay. So a mix of final expense,
yeah,
and instant internet leads.
But check the instant internet leads at 3 a.m. Do things other people aren't. That's when you drop them in at 3 a.m. When people get up at 9 and say there's no leads in my area, well, there were in the morning. You just woke up late. So get up a little bit early and get those leads.
Yeah, the instant internet leads, you not only can you get them first thing in the morning, but if you refresh it every 30, 40 minutes, they're coming in 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time.
They drop in.
Pick them up in small batches, and then within a few hours, you have 20, 30, 40 leads. But you got to be consistent, right? So that's another tip. If you guys don't know that, constantly be in the CRM and refresh it. You can pick up leads in any area. I did that here in Phoenix a few weeks ago. I was a little short on leads, and I literally within about an hour and a half picked up 30 leads. Yeah. So you can easily do that. Awesome, man. And then, secondarily, you guys heard it from John. Take 50% of every commission check you earn, dump it right back into leads. So that way you can continue to fuel your business and continue to make more money. All right, John, last thing, man.
Yep.
What do you want to leave the team with? What tips do you have for new agents, for veteran agents? What do you want to leave them with kind of as a sending off tip?
Sure. So one of the things I realized recently is that when you have an insurance license, I finally understand how powerful this is, because not only do we have the ability to make, especially with our company, it's not quite as powerful with other companies, okay, but with ours and here, we have the ability to make as much money as we possibly want. Your income, you can make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 a month, which is unheard of anywhere else. And that allows you to do so many different things. It allows you to make sure that your family's taken care of. It makes sure that your extended family's taken care of if that's what you decide to do. It makes sure that you have the ability to give back to charities like you never thought you could. When I came here, I was so stinking broke, but now I'm writing checks to charities that are big enough to be uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, this stings a little bit, but I've got it, and actually I can make it back in 2 days. So having an insurance license is so stinking powerful because you have the ability to help out so many people in so many different ways. First thing, stabilize yourself, stabilize your family, pour into your agents and help some agents out that might need it, and then give back to the community, because that's what this whole thing's about. You can only take so much with you. Pour money into your business, take care of your family, take care of others that need it. And that's how powerful and just having an insurance license can be.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, John, for pouring
You
in.
bet.
Hey, so you started out broke with Family First Life. Are you still broke?
No, I'm not broke. I haven't been broke in a while. No, I'm not.
Not
It's kind of
broke.
cool.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. Hey, I love seeing your success. I love seeing the team success. And again, thank you for everything that you've done to help pour into me and to our team. We really appreciate it. Thanks for dropping some nuggets today and spending some time with us. Much appreciated.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Julius. Great seeing your success too, man.
Thank you. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go out. We have the FFLdialteam.com. Jump on the dial team. Let's finish up booking for the day. 15 appointments is the goal. Let's run it. We got a record-breaking month coming up. Let's keep pushing. Reach out if you need anything. Bye for now. Take care.